Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today we will be looking at some of the top news and crypto buzz around the world. We will be starting with some highlights and then we will deep dive into each one of them. But before we do that, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get started. With my geeky specs on, here's the first highlight. TravelX and Air Europa launches world's first NFT flight. Okay, so the flight tickets would be NFTs. Second, Polygon, another blockchain which is a layer 2 solution on Ethereum blockchain, commits to going carbon neutral in 2022. Epic Games has raised $2 billion to develop its own metaverse. US government has seized $3.6 billion in stolen cryptocurrency assets. Germany seizes $25 million in Bitcoin. There are a lot of Bitcoin seizures and illegal seizures which have happened in the crypto in the past few days. With the latest one, which is US seizing $34 million just before the Bitcoin conference in Miami. And last but not the least, Bank of America warns, and other banks also warn about recession in US, which could be evident in the coming days. Let's start with the first news in detail. So TravelX, the company building the travel industry's first ever blockchain based distribution protocol, has launched something called NFT tickets. इसमें क्या होगा, you purchase their NFTs through an auction which is happening right in their on their website, and once you have that NFT, you can board their flight to Miami at some place which is called the first ever flight ticket series. These tickets will be released every 14 days via auction platform, the one which I just showed you. Whenever a person wants to use these tickets, they have to show this NFT to the airline companies, and the airline will issue the normal flight ticket to them. So you might ask, what's the added benefit? Users can sell these NFTs to other platforms just like any other NFTs. This is just an NFT with a real world utility. Good news for the entire community. This NFT is minted in Algorand's carbon negative blockchain, and if we are talking about carbon negative, then Polygon is going carbon neutral by 2022. They have placed a $20 million of investment to offset their carbon footprint. उन्होंने अभी recently एक green manifesto, a smart contract with planet Earth named एक manifesto release किया है, in which they plan out how things are gonna work. I will leave the link in the description for this video as well. So what exactly is Polygon? So Ethereum अपने आप में उतना efficient नहीं है. They are working on proof of work, but they are proof of work is a consensus mechanism. They are working on proof of work consensus mechanism, and which is not so efficient energy wise or speed wise. So they are shifting to another consensus mechanism called proof of stake, and Polygon is a layer 2 solution for Ethereum. So abhi Ethereum एक blockchain है, and on the top of that blockchain there is another blockchain called Polygon, which is called layer 2, since 2 layers, and these 2 layers interact with each other, so to improve the efficiency of the core Ethereum layer. Polygon is also facilitating NGOs to make donations that go towards fighting climate change. So what exactly does going carbon neutral means? That means that every NFT which is minted, token bridged or DeFi trade, whatever is happening on the Polygon blockchain will be accounted for, will be measured for, and its environment of impact will be offset. Analysis found that 99% of Polygon's emissions are due to checkpointing and bridging activities that involve transactions on Ethereum mainnet. Ethereum mainnet itself बहुत ही ज़्यादा inefficient है, and hopefully the beacon chain will be launched soon. एक और interesting fact that Polygon recently raised $450 million to expand its scaling solutions, which include Polygon Proof of Stake, Polygon Edge, and Polygon Avail. So Polygon POS is basically proof of stake consensus mechanism which they follow. Polygon Edge enables you to run your own blockchain with customizable features, just like Avalanche does it, in a similar way to what Avalanche does it. Polygon Avail feature, which provides execution environment for blockchains or blockchain systems to improve their efficiency. Moving on to the third and another funding related news. Epic Games announces $2 billion round of funding to advance the company's vision to build the metaverse. So they are aiming to create a new social experiment exploring the connection between digital and physical worlds. We all know about metaverse. There is a huge buzz around that, and Meta, earlier called Facebook, they changed their entire brand to Meta. Nvidia, Microsoft, everyone is jumping into the metaverse ship. Even some Indian companies have recently launched their own gaming platform, and this entire funding round has taken the valuation of Epic Games to around $31.5 billion. Since we are talking about money, there has been a lot of seizures, starting with one of the major things which happened in February 2022. Government seized $3.6 billion in stolen cryptocurrency. That was the hack called Bitfinex hack, which was a major thing. Recently, there are two main seizures which occurred. One is from Germany, which seized $25 million in Bitcoin as it searched down a Russian language darknet marketplace for illegal drugs, similar to Silk Road, but this was operated by a company called Hydra. सिर्फ 2020 में उन्होंने 1.3 बिलियन डॉलर्स का सेल किया था. सो दैट इज ह्यूज. द मार्केट प्लेस हैड 17 मिलियन कस्टमर्स थे उनके पास एंड 19,000 सेलर्स थे वहाँ पे, ऑल सेलिंग इलीगल ड्रग. इन यूएस there was another seizure of $34 million in CryptoTide. This happened just before the Bitcoin conference which recently happened. I'll try to cover that in another video in detail. All these crypto assets were collected after selling people's credentials from HBO, Netflix, Uber, and the leaked data from these platforms were sold on darknet, and the people were able to raise $34 million in cryptocurrency, which was crackdown which was seized by the US authorities. काला पैसा तो हम लोग pictures में we have seen that people store in their cupboards, their beds, cushions. How do these organizations save their क्रिप्टो एसेट्स, जो कि यार पूरा ब्लॉकचेन में ट्रांसपेरेंट सिस्टम है. सो इन्होंने अपना क्रिप्टो करेंसी एसेट्स को पब्लिक के नज़र से छुपाने के लिए एक टम्बलर करके सर्विसेज होती हैं उनको यूज़ किया था. दीज टम्बलर सर्विसेज और टम्बलर्स मिक्स मल्टीपल क्रिप्टो करेंसीज एंड देन द इंटायर एम इज टू, सिंस अगर बहुत सारे क्रिप्टो करेंसीज को उन्होंने किसी तरह छुपा दिया बाय मिक्सिंग विद देम विद ईच अदर. दैट्स अ कॉम्प्लिकेटेड प्रोसेस. दैट इज़ समहाउ द डाओ हैक जब हुआ था इन 2015 or somewhere around that time when Ethereum hard fork happened. That DAO hack, the people behind that DAO hack also used such a services, and companies like Chain Analysis and other, वो लोग इनका analysis करते हैं, and they are the ones who are able to extract the information back from these tumblers. And we all know about a movie or a documentary called Silk Road in 2013 when the FBI shut down one called Silk Road, which during the height of its popularity generated more than $1 billion in illicit transactions. Do watch this documentary. This is pretty interesting how a normal guy just created a entire money earning dark web services and how things went haywire. And the last news is US economy. As the inflation in the US economy is increasing, Bank of America foresees a mammoth recession as the Fed moves in to tighten its monetary policy. So it is expected that Federal Reserve would likely start slashing assets from its $9 trillion balance sheet at twice the rate it did in its previous quantitative tightening exercise. So what exactly is this quantitative tightening? Let's look at it in a very simple way, but in a more detailed way. We'll have to go a little bit into the history of what happened. After 2008 financial crisis, Fed moved in to revive the economy. They implemented a measure called quantitative easing, which is buying assets on a very large scales. These assets could be financial instruments and government bonds and etc. How can buying assets improve the economy? As the government started buying these financial instruments, the supply of these instruments in the market reduced. Hence, the prices of these assets increased. And what other thing happened? To buy these assets, Fed printed money, or Fed improved, supplied funds. They had to purchase from somewhere, right? And in order to purchase, उन्हें पैसा देना पड़ेगा. So when they gave the money to the market to purchase those bonds, the circulation of money in the market improved. This is a very crude way, but what happened was all these assets were accumulated in their balance sheet. Earlier, their balance sheet was around 1 trillion, even less than $1 trillion in 2008, which has swelled to $9 trillion as of now. Now, what is a balance sheet? Basically, let's talk about Fed. Fed has to maintain that उनके पास इतना पैसा है और इतना पैसा उन्होंने खर्च किया है, इतना पैसा उन्होंने इन्वेस्ट किया है. Their entire पैसे का हिसाब is mentioned in a formatted document called balance sheet. There are 2-3 things which they can do. They can maintain their balance sheet, they can increase the size of their balance sheet, which they did in quantitative easing, and they can reduce the size of balance sheet. There are multiple factors and multiple consequences of each of these actions. We already looked at how they can increase the balance sheet. Let's look at what they need to do to maintain the balance sheet. Whatever financial instruments are maturing, suppose government bond था, वो इतने term के लिए उन्होंने खरीदा था. जैसे ही उसका term पूरा हो गया, तो whatever money they got from that, they just reinvest. उतना पैसा वापस balance sheet में चला गया, तो balance sheet में पैसे कम नहीं हुए. So coming back to quantitative tightening. This is exactly opposite to quantitative easing. Opposite तो मतलब क्या होगा? Government will now sell, instead of buying, they will sell assets in large quantities to reduce the size of its balance sheet. Assets का size reduce होगा, तो balance sheet का size reduce होगा, right? Just a disclaimer, this is a very, very, very crude way of explaining things, so that you understand in the basic plain vanilla terms how major things happen. So why exactly they should do quantitative tightening? One is definitely the load on their balance sheet has increased and swelled to $9 trillion, and reducing the load could give them more control and power against any future recession. This could also lead to an increase in their interest rate. This is not the first time they are trying to do this. In 2018, the Fed once tried to do quantitative tightening. It didn't go well for stock markets, as the markets fell sharply by 6%, and after about 10 months of doing that, फेड सेट कि अभी बस करते हैं, अभी पॉलिसी रिवर्स कर रहे हैं. बट 2018 का एग्जांपल लेना थोड़ा गलत हो जाएगा, बिकॉज देयर वर अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स हैपनिंग एट दैट टाइम, स्पेशली यूएस चाइना ट्रेड वॉर्स जो हो रहा था. बट दिस टाइम क्वांटिटेटिव टाइटनिंग जो होगा, दैट इज अनप्रेसिडेंटेड, बिकॉज देयर आर 4 मेजर बैंक्स, यूएस, यूरोजोन, यूके एंड जापान. All of them are expected to reduce their balance sheet by $2 trillion. That's 4 times more than 2018 में जो हो रहा था. This could have a negative impact on growth stocks, basically technology stock या फिर वैसे stock जो बहुत जल्दी बहुत ज़्यादा जिनका share market value बढ़ता है compared to traditional companies. Although we have covered all the news, I just wanted to cover one part, that Bitcoin, one of the main reasons of this was to tackle inflation. How Bitcoin can protect against inflation. Any asset or investment that maintains or increases its value over time while protecting against adverse price fluctuations is called a hedge against inflation. And we all know that Bitcoin is assumed to be store of value, correct? So for anything to be store of value, it should be expected to hold its purchasing power over time, and it should either remain stable or become more valuable, like gold. Gold is called a store of value because we know that supply is limited and it will always increase in value in the longer terms. जो भी ऐसे अच्छे assets होते हैं ना, which act as a hedge against inflation, they are called hard assets. Now there are some key properties linked with these hard assets. First is scarcity. A limited supply means that greater demand will likely push the prices up. अगर supply fixed होगा, तो अगर demand बढ़ता है तो definitely prices बढ़ जाएंगे. And we all know that Bitcoin has a total supply, which is the maximum number of bitcoins that can ever be minted, is 21 million. Accessibility. The market will value and accept the asset. Everyone is now, the acceptance of Bitcoin is now growing more than ever, and people around the country are realizing that okay, crypto assets are not all things for gamble, but they have true value. And value doesn't mean that you need to have physical thing to back it up. Anything which people use, anything which people are willing to pay a price for, can be termed as value. Durability. Assets will continue to garner demand over time. So all of these factors are pretty evident with Bitcoin. Hence, Bitcoin could be a very good hedge against inflation. But this is not a financial advice. Nothing is a financial advice in this video. Just buy at your own risk. buy after you do your own research, and buy from a secure place. So that's it for this video. Hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it, hope you gained some new information, and if you did, do hit the like button, subscribe button, and turn on the notifications. Also share this video with your friends. I'm trying my best to improve the quality of the information that I provide to you guys, quality of the insights which I am providing to you guys, and I will keep trying to improve this in future. With that positive note, let's wrap up this video and see you next time. Thank you.